Thank you, Ashwin. First of all, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Sunne Kumar, and I have recently joined inMorphis as their Chief Revenue Officer, leading global sales. And prior to this, I spent the last 8 years at ServiceNow, where I had a number of different roles. I led their partner relationship management group for some time, and then also ran the global MSP business, managed service provider business. And my last role was running telecom, media, and technology business for ServiceNow. So really excited to be here and look forward to having a wonderful conversation.
Lovely, Sunny, lovely. Uh, so again, quickly to introduce myself, Ashwin Gaidhani. I'm the lead analyst for the enterprise platforms with ISG, and I lead the ServiceNow ecosystem space where we conduct this evaluation across all these ServiceNow ecosystem partners. And that's where I believe we have a very interesting presentation from inMorphis, and congratulations to the entire inMorphis team to be recognized as a rising star across APAC and US in the innovation quadrant.
No, thank you so much. We're super excited, Ashwin, as this is the perfect time to really showcase a lot of our assets, innovation skills, especially in the AI world that we're in. And we've been in business for about 10 years, as you probably know. We started as a ServiceNow, partner, and that's pretty much been the foundation, the core of our business over the last 10 years. And that ServiceNow also took notice of us last year specifically by making an investment into the company. And we're really grateful for ServiceNow for that recognition. Not just the investment, but the trust that they had or they have with inMorphis in ensuring that they have a board seat at our company, and we're very closely tied with their product engineering, sales, the entire ecosystem, the entire ServiceNow organization as a whole. So super excited to be part of that journey.
That's exceptional, sorry. That's exceptional because even we have recognized few great work and few great accelerators that inMorphis has been working on. So again, to build the construct, I believe we all have agreed and acknowledged the fact that ServiceNow has become the de facto platform for innovation and engineering for the business modernization aspect. So ServiceNow has been adding a lot of AI, agentic AI functions, solutions, and attributes to its platform that we've seen recently in this recent release. And even we do have this unique release, which is star-studded platform full of AI offerings and functionalities. So, Sunny, would like to hear from you as to what do you see one of the major challenges in adopting the AI capabilities by an enterprise client?
Sure. It's a very, very timely question. And I'll just take you back, I'd say almost 10 years ago when we started the company with the singular premise to be hyper focused on ServiceNow platform and delivering value to customers leveraging the platform. So we remain true to core. And we're a small company, we're hyper focused on that. So that's our mission, that's our goal. And over time, we've built a lot of deep offerings, innovation on top of the ServiceNow platform. In that journey, almost 3 years ago is when we started embarking on the AI collaboration with ServiceNow engineering, product teams, et cetera, et cetera. And that's given us a head start in the ServiceNow AI ecosystem, so to speak. And what we have noticed is, you asked about challenges. There's also a lot of opportunities, and the biggest, thing that we're seeing that we're working with customers is the technology is there. It's still getting better. As we know, every hour something's being released, every week something's being released in terms of the different LLMs and models and all of those kind. But the challenges for enterprises that we're working with are the following, which is around governance, it is around data, it is around integration, it is around security, organizational change management, upskilling. Those five or six things that we just talked about sound like old standard stuff, non sexy, but it's fundamental and core to customers leveraging the value, extracting the value out of AI. And which is why, a lot of companies are still struggling to get to the next step. And that's where we have been fortunate to work with alongside ServiceNow with some of our mutual customers, where we've taken a the customers have taken a use case by use case aspect or point of view, to so as not to take the entire operations and move it in one go, but really do it in spurts, in sprints over time. And there's been a lot of learnings too, especially on the data front. As you can imagine, there's a lot of unclean data under the covers, and so garbage in, garbage out. So unless that data is clean, unless there is secure data, unless it's governed by a certain process, and deeply secure, all of this just becomes a hype. So those are the challenges that we're seeing. But on the plus side, we're also seeing a lot of customers move very swiftly and rapidly into the AI world, graduating from generative AI to now agentic AI. And they've done it by leveraging all of these underlying core frame principles that we talked about, and making sure it's done in a use case by use case manner. So that's the one thing we're seeing, is we're not seeing customers take the entire workload and moving it in one go. That would be a little too premature, especially with the pace at which innovation is going. So hopefully that answers the question. Would love to dig deeper, but tell me, what are you seeing in your uh, customer interactions, because I know you talk to a lot of customers every day.
Absolutely, Sunny. I think very valid point that you've highlighted is the data aspect. And if you look at the hierarchy of data, it starts with data set, which every organization has. Every enterprise client sits on their vast amount of business contextual data. They have the transaction data about their customers. They have the data about their infrastructure and their systems. So the data is the key and core for building a successful AI system, right?
Hmm.
Now, what we are seeing, or what's really missing in this entire construct, is the knowledge. How does data transform into knowledge,
Hmm.
right? So, and every transaction is a knowledge point. And using functionalities like generative AI can convert every transaction or every touch point into valuable information, which can be verified into knowledge, and then you have a strong knowledge base. So this is something I believe most of the enterprises have realized,
Hmm.
and now they're exploring opportunities to align, sanitize, and standardize their data so that they can build these robust, sustainable models which can feed into their AI ambition or their AI story. So it is extremely imperative, and we've always known the fact that uh, AI is for the business.
Right.
AI is by the business. So that construct has to always be focusing on what kind of data, what kind of dynamic data is going to be captured, and how that is going to be translated into knowledge. And that knowledge is used to make the decision making by that specific enterprise, forming that intelligent enterprise fabric like a structure
Hmm.
which connects all the data sources at one layer and enables the C-suites or enables these fast growing, fast scaling enterprises to make educated decisions. So absolutely, I think we we are on the same understanding. What you're seeing from your customers as a challenge, we are recommending, probably few mature and innovative uh, firms like inMorphis, those who have a broad set of IPs,
Hmm.
a good frameworks to drive these initiatives for these clients. So I think you're doing a fabulous work out there.
No, thank you. And you touched upon the innovation, and one of the things that's really been a standout feature of our company has been the constant innovation that we've developed on top of the ServiceNow platform. And so, as an example, with AI, we have something called AI assembly line, which essentially takes the entire methodology of implementation and cuts it down and really accelerates the pace of project delivery, which means there is faster time to value, there is also higher accuracy and improved productivity. So all of that means our customers get to enjoy the benefits of ServiceNow much more faster and in a much more robust manner, much more predictable, I should say. And so that's just one example. We've also built a lot of IP on top of the platform for certain industries. So we are hyper focused on a few industries that we, over the last 10 years, have really gained a lot of experience. Key amongst them are telecom, media, technology, TMT. That's sort of our home base. We started with a very large telco in India, which then developed into a bunch of other customers. We've got Airtel, BT, and a bunch of other customers in that space, Globe Telecom in the Philippines and the like. The other area we're focusing on is a lot of banking, financial services in India. We have probably the top 10 banks we're working with and financial services in India as well. So that's the other vertical we're working on. We also have done a lot of work in retail and manufacturing. So if you look at those areas, again, we're not trying to be innovating across all industries. We're very focused on those key industries where we have domain expertise. We know ServiceNow really well, and we try to bring the best of both worlds for customers. And as you correctly said, it's in service of the business. So at the end of the day, all of this innovation has to drive faster time to value, higher value, and in some cases, operational efficiencies.
No, that's true, Sunny. And then if you, probably explore the ServiceNow's roadmap and the latest investments and focus, I believe CRM is one of the most
Yeah,
focused areas for ServiceNow. And then we've been hearing a lot of good stories around. So, what's your take on that? And what's inMorphis' contribution to the CRM space? And what are you doing?
yeah,
If you could share a roadmap, and if
yeah.
you can also highlight certain success stories that you have been working on, so that'll be great.
Sure, sure. So, I'd say ServiceNow fundamentally is really well known for orchestrating the work. It's a workflow engine of pretty much every enterprise in the world today. It's become the undisputed king or queen in that area. And so it was just natural for ServiceNow to move into the front office. And because at the end of the day, it's still work being orchestrated across, whether it's front office, middle office, back office. So it truly was in the DNA of ServiceNow. It is in the DNA of ServiceNow to go into the front office. So it was not a surprise. It was just a matter of when. And we've been in discussions with the product and engineering at ServiceNow for several years on this topic. They've been contemplating. So we've been prepared from that perspective as well. And we do have a lot of domain expertise, not just on the technology, but also on the business side of things, having worked with several other front end CRM systems by integrating them with ServiceNow back in the day. So now we bring that business knowledge and then joined along with that the fundamental ServiceNow acumen that we have. We're now working with a few customers on getting the front office transformation completed for them, leveraging ServiceNow platform. And in that, there is a very important element. It's all started for us with order management. As I mentioned to you, there's a lot of telco and tech in our business. So a lot of order management, order capture, sales order management, a lot of that was done leveraging ServiceNow. So we already started to get a lot of front office experience. And now, with the latest acquisition that ServiceNow did about 6 months ago with Logic on CPQ, that's really cemented the order management because you cannot do a complex order without configure, price, and quote. That goes hand in hand. So we just had, by definition, to come up to speed very quickly. In fact, we made the decision in July, right when they announced the acquisition. I actually met with Chris Schutz, the founder and CEO of Logic AI, lives right here in Chicago, not too far from me. And we made a decision at that meeting when I first met him to have 100 people trained on CPQ, which we've just completed. And that is the beginning foundations of our CRM journey, which is we got order capture, we have CRM, and now with all of the other components of sales, opportunities, leads, so on and so forth, we'll be working pretty closely. But the point of the matter is now we have the full breadth, the front office, middle office, back office, so we can really tell a holistic story to a customer. And then one more thing, and then I will pause, is in the entire story of CRM and AI, you talked about it, and I shared at the beginning. Data people used to say data is oil. Now it's it's even more critical. It is the fundamental foundation. Without it, AI doesn't work, CRM doesn't work. Almost nothing works without clean and secure and contextual data. So in that journey, ServiceNow has a new product called Workflow Data Fabric, which really what it does in simple terms, it has zero copy. It goes and connects with all of the data lakes and stuff like Snowflake and Databricks and others, Oracle, SAP, and keeps the data pristine. So that's an area we've been working pretty closely with customers with ServiceNow. And again, it's very much under the covers. It's not something people talk about a lot, but that foundational plumbing, if it is not done correctly, the entire house can collapse. So we've been spending a lot of time in that foundational layer. Uh, the ServiceNow calls it workflow data fabric, but I think in common parlance, it's the data integrity, it's the data accuracy, it's making sure that whatever we're feeding to CRM, AI, order management, any function, that data is clean, secure, safe, and governed in a contextual manner. So those are the few things we're working on. Super excited. It's just the beginning. There is so much more to go, but we're very, very excited working with. We're actually working with a lot of sales teams of ServiceNow across the globe, in India, in Asia, and in the US specifically. How about you? And I should probably ask you a question about what are you seeing in this in the ServiceNow space?
Yes, and I think I'll just highlight few critical points that I believe are going to make or break the entire construct of how the enterprise are going to scale and how service providers like inMorphis are playing and can improve focusing on these attributes. With so much of AI and so much of agentic AI around, I believe uh, it's not about implementation, expertise, and competency anymore. I think the consulting parts will take a lot of precedence and a lot of focus because we need to start educating, we need to start consulting, assessing, guiding these enterprise clients to start working on the data fabrication journey. That's the most important part. So consulting has suddenly elevated its importance, where I believe in the past we always used to focus on a flawless implementation. I know maybe that agents can do it for you these days, right?
Mhm.
But when it comes to consulting, that is the core space where governance, risk, and compliance play a very critical role, as you alluded to in your previous a conversation or dialogue. So all these attributes need to be considered during the phase of consulting, which can lead to value discovery phase. So that's the phase when you lay down the foundation to identify the value discovery attributes. And the next stage of value discovery would be the governance and management aspect. And then that would lead to value realization. So all these attributes are very critical to consulting, where the shifting focus from uh, just implementing fast, implementing effortlessly, or implementing flawlessly is
Yeah,
given the current world. It's given. That's the least expected
correct.
capability. But
Yeah,
what is going to be a critical differentiator is how you handhold, how you guide, and help enterprise clients onboard uh, the AI capabilities through focused consulting.
yeah.
What do you see there, and what does inMorphis offer in that space? I'm sure we have good frameworks that we have discussed earlier on, trying to accelerate, adopt, and
Sure.
help enterprise clients work on the.
Yeah. So You actually bring up a very good point, which is the pace at which ServiceNow as a company is growing and the pace at which customers want to adopt and real not just adopt but to realize the value means there are a lot of customers who need to implement the solution faster. So we're helping ServiceNow. We're working closely with ServiceNow to ensure that whenever customers bought the software, the license, our job is to go help deploy that and get to value as soon as possible. Because the time from purchasing the license to not just deploying, but to realizing the value, we want to shrink that shorter and shorter and shorter. Back in the day when you and I were doing stuff in the mid 90s, that was measured in years. You could have an implementation start now and go live in 2 years, and people will be very, very excited. Those days are gone, obviously. That's the work we're doing with ServiceNow and our customers, is to condense, compress that time when they buy the license and when they receive value from the software. So everything in between, the negotiations on, the discussions on the implementation, the roadmap, how do we negotiate the commercials, what IP we're going to bring to the table, and then get all that the minute the software is bought, we come in, we implement, we get them live, get to value, not just live, but value. That's the measure for a customer. So if you're not sitting on the customer side seat, that's what they care about. They don't care about the implementation methodology. They don't care about how the sausage is made. They just want at the end what is the result. And that's where we have been hyper focused to make sure all of this is transparent to the customer, all of this plumbing, so to speak. That's where we bring in our unique accelerators, our IP, our models, our learnings over the last 10 years with thousands of implementations. And now we're doing what we call with AI assembly line. We're essentially putting this on steroids, so to speak, where we're compressing the timeline, getting value, and that is our way to contribute to the ecosystem and to the customers by getting them live through our accelerators. And again, these are not just AI. AI is important, but it's also domain based and industry based. What I mean by that is we talked about the main industry. So when we go into a telco, we have a point of view based on our 12 or 13 very large telco implementations we've done around the world. So we can talk with a certain hypothesis to say, here is our point of view. And we can at least take a 60-70% point of view there versus trying to start from scratch. So that's industry expertise. The other one is around domain. As an example, we've done a lot of work around AI ops and zero touch. We just took a customer live recently, and there was a lot of zero healing, zero touch healing, where in the past people had to call, they had to go through multiple steps. So when the system's now able to heal itself without a touch, without a human intervention, you can imagine the savings there. And then reducing the mean time to resolve, where it was measured in weeks, now it's in a few hours, and that automatically takes a lot of business value. That's where, to your point, that's the business value. At the end of the day, all of these things we do must address that. If it doesn't, I think we're just being we talk a lot of talk, but there's no end point to that.
The next most used word, even by ServiceNow after AI, which is experience. So, the business experience,
Yes.
entire transaction experience, the developer experience,
Yes.
all these experiences play a very crucial role to increase the stickiness to
Yes.
the platform, to those, the modernized processes that ServiceNow delivers. And, I'm sure inMorphis also has a plan in mind to ensure that experience is unfaltered and is maintained consistently during the entire value chain of ServiceNow adoption. Anything on that side you would like to highlight?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, the value is derived by the people that use the software or use the system. And the usage is usually measured in experience. Like if you and I are on a website and if we just don't like the experience, we just go to another one. And it's very, very similar in a B2B world where there are business applications. So our goal is not just to deliver the end result in terms of numbers, numerics, which is critical, but also the user experience. So we start every program project with user experience in mind. That's the fundamental to the agile methodology, the sprints that we go through with customers. And the highlight is with AI, it's making a lot of those very, very simple, so to speak, in the beginning. Otherwise, back in the day, 5, 10 years ago, it was a little harder to show the end user what it's going to look like and for them to really conceptualize. But with agentic AI, now we can do a lot more things a lot more faster. And we also have built our framework and our accelerators with that in mind. So, one thing which we continuously do, we actually have a team whose only job is to refine, update our methodology to make sure all of the accelerators, all of the IP that we bring gets into every single project. So, that I think is the core belief is it's not some asset sitting on the shelf that we have to pull in. It has to be ingrained into each of the 750 practitioners that are going out there delivering project, regardless whether it's in India, Singapore, US, UK, it doesn't matter. Every single practitioner of inMorphis is certified on that methodology, which is built by essentially 10 years of the work, but most importantly, it's refined almost every hour because we have a center of excellence team whose only job is to get this to world class. In fact, we do frequent updates with ServiceNow to make sure we're sharing with them what we're doing, we're learning from them, and also in some cases providing some feedback to them as well.
Super cool, Sunny. And then if you look at my last of the closing lines, and then I'll ask you to probably share your closing notes on that, is ServiceNow is the new business modernization platform, which is trying to, reduce the deficit, uh, the residue that is being left over by the transformation. And then as and when you transform your processes, the focus needs to be on how are we going to reduce
Mhm.
the digital waste, the deficit, and fulfill the deficiency. So that is probably one of the key focus areas, even that we are trying to understand as to how can we repurpose most of these attributes and most of these the digital assets that we have. So on that specific context, what's your take on that, and how does inMorphis play the role of the catalyst to transform these businesses at faster speed and more of uh, green transformation, if I say? How are you going to, or how is inMorphis trying to uh, drive the transformation in the current enterprise clients portfolio at the most competitive speeds, if I may say? So we've seen most of the enterprises are grappling with the modernization of their current existing processes.
Mhm.
Uh, and these have to meet the maturity of the platform as well. And inMorphis or boutique players like inMorphis play a very crucial role as a catalyst to help enterprise clients meet the pace of transformation of the platform like ServiceNow. So, how do you think inMorphis is positioned for
Great
current
question.
and future times to
Yeah.
help enterprise clients drive the transformation?
That's a great question, and this is where the power of focus really helps us. What I mean by that is we are not bound by multiple platforms. Different. We don't have to keep up candidly with a lot. We have to keep up with one platform, which is ServiceNow. That we've put all our eggs in one basket, so to speak. Which means we are so wedded with the product and engineering, with the roadmap. We are having constant dialogue over the next 18 months, 3 years, where ServiceNow is going to go. We thankfully have, because of the ServiceNow investment and other things, and also our intimacy with ServiceNow, we are very closely tied. Now, how does that help customers? It really helps customers by making sure when we land a project, an initiative, or a program, we are looking at not just that one particular phase of the project. We are generally looking at it at phase 1A, 1B, 1C, or phase 2, 3, 4, whatever the client may call it. We are always looking at it from the overall holistic perspective. And in 8 times out of 10, we're able to advise them on certain tweaks in the following phases by making some changes in the foundational layer. Just like with anything, building a house, if you it's called measure twice, cut once, right? You measure it twice, you have to do a lot of rework later on. So that's the benefits that we bring to the table because of our deep domain expertise, because of our ServiceNow knowledge and experience of building it, 10 years, over 10 years. So that's one area. The second one, which we see, it's relevant to your question, is the general health of the CMDB database, which in ServiceNow world is the heart and soul of the entire operation. And we see over time, as customers implement project after project after project, the health of the CMDB sometimes is not very pristine. So we have built certain assets and certain IP where we use that, we take that to customers, and at the beginning of the project or at the right time, we work with them to essentially heal the challenges of a broken CMDB or a bad CMDB or challenges. And the effect, as you very well know, Ashwin, is the effect of that is wide, pervasive across the enterprise. It's almost like poison coming into the body. It just completely goes and runs amok. So we have specific programs, specific IP, specific areas, things that we bring to the client, and we work with several clients where we essentially heal the challenges of CMDB. We get it right, and the effects of that are exponential. Just by fixing a few things and making the CMDB foundational correct, a lot of challenges automatically dissipate, and customers have been pleasantly surprised by the value realization from that small little tweak. It's not small. I don't mean to belittle that. It's very hard, very complex, but it's something which many many times gets overlooked, but because again, it's a very non-sexy thing to talk about, but it's a supremely critical thing because the impact is pervasive. One other area, Ashwin, we are investing heavily is helping GCCs, Global Capability Centers, in India, because that's been a big wave of customers, very large enterprises around the world, setting up GCCs in India. And a lot of them have ServiceNow as the foundational pillar in their technology stack. So we are working with at least 2 dozen GCCs right now as we speak in various aspects of the business, helping them with GBS, global business services, shared services, HR, IT, finance, supply chain, across all aspects of GCC. And that's a very exciting area that we're seeing emerging in India. And again, it's also the US, UK, because a lot of them headquartered in these countries, but the GCCs are in India. And so we're developing a framework, we're developing unique IP specific to GCC. So more to come on that. Early days, but very, very fascinated by some of the work that we're doing with our clients there. Ashwin.
Absolutely, Sunny. And then again, I believe so. We are more excited to see a few new things coming out of inMorphis. We are already, probably at the start of 2026, and the new set of evaluation for service ecosystem is already on. So hopefully, looking forward to learn a lot from you, and what are the new developments that you're looking forward to, and new offerings. So thank you so much for this conversation, sir. It was interesting, and thank you.